The black, slightly frayed, hard-bound notebook sat on my father's bookshelf for decades. The binding was held together with masking tape and the pages yellow and fragile. Growing up, I knew very little about the words inside. My father called it simply the journal, and all I knew is it contained the life story of our ancestor, my great-great-grandfather, George. This oversized notebook was my father's most cherished possession, as he made clear by issuing standing orders that if the house caught fire, the journal was to be evacuated first. My father, David Richardson, was the skipper of a small U.S. Navy ship during World War II, and our household was run accordingly. Looking back, I realize my father knew me better than anyone on earth, and maybe better than I knew myself. He knew exactly when I should read the journal. When I finally did, at a pivotal moment in my life, I wished I had read it years earlier. Recollections of My Life Work, as our ancestor had formally titled his book, all 334 pages written in neat cursive handwriting, describes the remarkable tale of George Warren Richardson and his life on the edges of 19th century America. He was born on a farm in New York in 1824, immigrated as a young man to the upper Midwest territories, and became a circuit-riding itinerant Methodist preacher on the prairie frontier. George and his wife Caroline, his childhood sweetheart, were ardent anti-slavery abolitionists. They secretly and dangerously used their home as a stop on the Underground Railroad, spiriting at least one enslaved young woman to freedom, and he recorded how they did it in Recollections of My Life Work. During the Civil War, George Richardson volunteered as the white chaplain to a colored Union Army regiment posted in Memphis. He saw bloodshed and carnage in Tennessee and Mississippi. After the war, George and Caroline, with 2 of their 6 children, founded a college for emancipated slaves that, in the 20th century, grew into Huston-Tillotson University in Austin, Texas. And that is just the start of the remarkable story revealed inside the pages of the journal, tales that I knew almost nothing about as a child. It was almost as if our ancestors' journal contained a hidden family secret, which in a way it did. Few in our family knew much about George and Caroline Richardson or their children. My father and his sister Madge were the only people I know who had read his journal. Truthfully, as the decades unfolded into the 20th century, not everyone who had grafted onto the Richardson family tree and bore his name would have viewed George and Caroline Richardson's work with black people as heroic or politically correct.